صباح جميعا, and welcome to the third part of recreating the Skyrim puzzle in UDK using Kismet. And in this video we're gonna delve into the puzzle's logic, the initial logic of how we're gonna go through with creating the puzzle. Okay, so I'm going to go through this in a top-down approach. I'm gonna show you the working logic, and then I'm gonna explain it. Alright, so in the last video that we made, we set up a trigger node and the matinee sequence, the animation. Now, there are a bunch of stuff that need to go in between those, in between the trigger and the animation, so that the system works as it does. Alright, first, just ignore this. This is the working puzzle. I'm going to show you the first step. First, we need to assign an int variable, and we're going to call that int upper circle, meaning that this integer value, this variable will instantiate, theoretically, this in our heads, it will instantiate the first circle, and by giving it, by assigning it as an int, we're gonna assign a number to each one of the symbols in our heads, and as a representative way to manipulate the symbols. In order to access the symbols, we can't access them directly by telling Kismet, I need the square, I need the teapot. We need to do that by assigning integers to each symbol, and we assign numbers to each symbol with the rotation. Each time we rotate, it switches to a different number. So the square is always 0, the teapot is always 1, the circle is always 2, and so on and so forth. And when we go back to the circle, it resets the variable to 0. So once we click, we compare an int. We compare the upper circle to a number integer that is 4, and we check if it's lower than the initial value of the upper circle is 0. So once it's gonna check, it's gonna see that yes, upper circle, which is 0, is smaller than 4. So it goes through this option and it adds an int. It adds 1 to upper circle and stores the result in upper circle. So upper circle is now valued at, has a value of 1. Okay, that's the first time you use the trigger. For instance, the first rotation, and it plays the animation. You want to click it another time, you're gonna rotate the tube another time. It's gonna check again. It's gonna trigger, compare int, and it's gonna compare 4 to upper circle, and 4 and upper circle is now 1, and still less than b. So it's gonna add a 1 to it, so it becomes 2, and you do the same thing again. It's 3, the same thing again, and it's 4. When it's 4, it's equal to the b, to the value b. It's greater or equal, it doesn't matter. So it's equal to b. That means that we came back to our original position. That means that the wheel has turned 330 degrees, and we turn back to, and we now see the square, and we should reset the value to 0. Okay? I hope this is a bit clear to you. So when we zero out the value, that's how we give each symbol its value. 0, 1, 2, 3. You know? Okay. Is there something missing? Well, actually, the square is we're giving the value 1 to the square base because it's adding it before we go back to the trigger, but you'll get it when we come back to it. So I'm gonna rebuild the first sequence here. So we're gonna go new variable, int variable, and we're gonna call it first wheel. Okay, and we're going to place it on top of the trigger, I'm gonna disconnect these. I'm gonna create a compare node, condition comparison, compare int, and we're gonna create a named variable to instantiate this int variable. We're gonna call it the same thing. We called our wheel, first wheel. Indentation, the capitalization doesn't count. And we connect it to A, and we right click on B, create new int variable. We want to compare it to 4, and int value and the sequence variable int 4. And if it's less than 4, we're gonna add new action add int, new action math add int. If it's less than 4, we're gonna add to the first wheel, which is this. I'm gonna copy and paste it, named variable. Add 1. Sorry, just a second. We're gonna add 1 to it. Sorry about that. And we're gonna store the results in the first wheel. Okay, we're gonna store the results in the variable, and we're gonna play the animation. Okay, and yep, this is okay. Forgot about the resetting. We need to reset the first wheel. So where is it? Set variable. New action set variable int. If it's equal or more than 4, we're gonna set. I always confuse these value and target. Don't know why. Okay. We're gonna set value of 0 to target. Control V. First wheel, and we're gonna go through and add. Okay. Hope this is clear. And basically we're gonna do the same operation for the 2 wheels that we have here. Okay, and we're just gonna disconnect the trigger from the animation, and we're gonna copy paste those. Okay, and we're gonna create a new variable, and we're gonna call it second wheel. Okay, we're gonna connect these, and basically we're gonna call these second wheel. It's just a matter of renaming them so that they instantiate our correct variable. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing to the third wheel. Okay. It's kind of boring. Okay. Okay. Connected. I'm gonna create the third variable. Oh, sorry. And third wheel. Set up here. Now, next step is to understand in order to trigger things. Okay, ignore this at the moment, and this. Where is it? Oh, okay. Sorry, I've confused things because I've moved things around. Okay, so this is the second part of the trigger, and the second part of the puzzle. Just want to see how much I'm doing on time. I have time. The second part is when you decide on a combination of symbols and click the button, the snowflake, or in your case the square, and you want to try to open the door to see if the combination is correct. And sorry about that. The trigger of the puzzle is here, and the first thing that it does is it compares an int. It compares the upper circle to 4. If it's equal, it's going to compare the second circle, which I've named here upper circle, middle circle, and lower circle, which are first, second, and third. And it's going to compare this to 3, and and the third circle is going to compare to 4. Now this is my combination of numbers that I wanted to. This is of symbols that opens the door. A symbol, a different symbol, and the same symbol as this one, because as we said before, each letter represents a different. As in this case, the circles has change something we're going to see later. I'm going to explain that later. If all these pass, if all these are true, then it's going to play the animation, and this animation is responsible for opening the door. Okay? So we're going to do that right now. Okay? We have this trigger here. We're going to right click, new event using trigger 4 used, and we're going to compare an int. Compare actor. Oops, why did I forget? Right. Math. Nope. Condition. Sorry. You compare int. Okay. And we're gonna compare the first wheel, which is here. I'm just gonna copy paste it to 4. Okay, and I'm gonna do this 2 times since we have 3 wheels. Okay. Second wheel and third wheel. Okay. And we're gonna put this on 3, and this is gonna be 4. Okay. And we're gonna connect them all when it's equal, because I've explained it. Yeah, I'm not gonna repeat it again. Okay. And if all these pass, if all these are equal, it's gonna play an animation. Okay. We need to first set their physics types to interpolating, so that their animation runs correctly. Let me see. Why do I have? Okay. Let me see. Physics. Okay. None. Under just PHY. Just search for PHY, and you should get collision, physics, dynamic, SM actor. Oh, oops. Nope. That's not it. Physics. Where is it? Collision. No, it's not collision. Okay. It's movement physics interpolating, and we have it already as interpolating. Now we're gonna animate them so that the door opens. Door opening. Right click, new movement track. It's gonna open. Lasts 2 seconds. Okay. I'm gonna put a new keyframe here and move these suckers. Okay. I'm gonna have to select them all. It's it's not gonna be a fancy animation. I just want to do this quickly. New empty group, door opening. Right click, new movement track. 2 seconds. Enter and move them away. How did I move them all together? Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm just gonna add their objects to the matinee data. Which should theoretically work. Let me see. New movement track. Okay. And, go up. Okay. So, let's see it. Okay, the platform is moving. I've got a bunch of times here. Shouldn't have that. Okay. I'm just gonna select the first wheel, right click, new object. I'm gonna put an object to it. And I'm gonna put an object to the second wheel, and I'm gonna put an object to the third wheel. And let's see if that works. I'm gonna connect them to matinee data. Okay, and they will go up, as you can see. Alright, so since we have that working, we're gonna test out the puzzle. We're gonna finally test it out. See, okay, we still have time. Okay, so I'm just gonna click it now and see if something happens. So nothing happens now at the moment when it's in its initial position. So I'm gonna turn. Alright, so this is cone, sorry. The cone is the third one. Okay, and the square. And, I turned it again. See, we don't have our triggers placed correctly, apparently. Which is weird. The third one isn't moving anymore. Something wrong with the third one. Wait, I think... Yep, max trigger count 0. Now we have the triggers placed correctly. I just didn't change the trigger count. Alright, so I'm gonna move this, move this, move this. This should get back to square, because we're turning it 4 times. And this to cone, and this to square. Okay, and now when we try to open, the door opens and has this weird thing going on here. That doesn't matter. We can fix it. This is the old one. I just tried to hide it and did a terrible job. Okay? And what you're saying, what you must be saying to yourself right now is, what if the player comes and just turns this wheel 3 times? He tries it before, and this combination works. And he comes again, he dies, and he restarts the level, and he just turns this middle part to the third wheel, and it's correct. The door should open, and he clicks it, and it doesn't open. Why? Because the math is incorrect. We need to take into account these different variations. For instance, we need to take into account if you rotate this 2 wheels here, but not the first one, and the combination is still correct, the door should still open. So these are the conditions here. This is the first condition, 434, and these 3 are the conditions that open the door, the other 3 conditions, the other 3 possibilities of the door opening. I'll explain it later in the 3rd video since we're running out of time. So, see you.